Students, nuclear physics class 8, in which we are going to study some nuclear detectors and accelerators. So here we have taken Ziegler-Muller counter, that is GM counter. So we have done so many experiments on this in our laboratory. Okay, so you all seen this GM counter here. So this is the GM counter, this is the detector, and this is the block diagram of the GM counter. So let us see how basically the GM counter works here. So this is a cylinder. Okay, so now this this is the one window, this is the another window. These two windows are covered by a glass plate, and this tube is, or the cylinder is, filled by the 90% of argon and 10% of ethyl alcohol vapor inside this at a pressure of 10 centimeter of Hg. Along the axis of the GM tube, we stretched a wire, that is a tungsten wire, and this tungsten wire is insulated at this point and at this point. Insulated means it is not in contact with the cylinder, okay, by using ebonite plug. Now this wire acts as an anode because it is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, and the outer jacket or the outer cylinder is connected to the negative terminal of the battery. It acts as a cathode. The inner wall of the cylinder is coated with a pentavalent atom. Okay, so what is the use of it, that we will see later. When a charged particle such as a beta particle enter into this chamber, so initially it gives its energy by interacting with the atoms of the gas. But the energy of the beta particle is insufficient to make a ionization. So therefore we apply here a threshold voltage to these gas molecules, where the energy of these atoms are excited to that level. When the beta particle gives its energy by interaction to the outermost electrons, it makes ionization. So to that level we excite the atoms inside the gas. Okay, so when the beta particle enter into this, it makes a ionization and the electrons are liberated. The liberated electron interact with the other atoms. Further liberation of electron takes place due to ionization. So this process continues. A bunch of electrons will appear there. So since this tungsten wire is anode, positively charged, and electrons are negatively charged, they are pulled towards the anode and they are sweeps out of the cylinder through this load resistance R, where it is amplified and counted as a pulse of, that is, electrons, so that it is equal to 1 beta particle. So in this way this works. But the ionized atoms are becomes positive ions, and the outer cylinder is negatively charged, that is cathode. So they move towards the wall of the, or they hit the wall of the cylinder and take the electron, because we have coated inside with a pentavalent atom, and they again come back to the cylinder for the next cycle. Clear? So this is the basic working of GM counter, dear students. Okay, so let us see the construction. It consists of a metal cylinder C containing argon and ethyl alcohol vapor at a pressure of about 10 cm of Hg. A fine wire W is stretched along the axis of the tube, and it is insulated by ebonite plug EE at this point and at this point. The wire is connected to the positive terminal of the high tension battery through a high resistance R here, and the negative terminal is connected to the chamber C. So this is the outer cylinder. The DC voltage is kept slightly less than, which causes the discharge between the electrodes. Okay, so as if you increase the voltage beyond threshold voltage, the discharge of this gas takes place continuously. To avoid that, we keep the slightly less than the, that is, discharge voltage. Okay, now when The ionizing particle, say beta particle, enters the counter, ionization takes place and few ions are produced. If the applied potential difference is strong enough, these ions are multiplied by further collisions and avalanche of electrons move towards the central wire, and this is equivalent to a small current impulse which flows through the resistance R. The critical potential is lowered through the resistance R. The potential difference thus developed across R is amplified by vacuum tube circuit, and it is made to operate a mechanical counter. Okay, the same, the electrons which are produced due to ionization, they move towards the tungsten wire and it is counted as a pulse in the counter. In this way, single particle can be registered. The sudden pulse of discharge sweeps away the ions from the chamber and the counter is ready to register the arrival of the next particle. Okay, so let us see the characteristic. From the graph, it is seen that below threshold voltage, in the sense here you can see, so below threshold voltage means beyond this, the GM counter does not detect, because up to here it is shown 1000 voltage, but in our laboratory it is around 400 voltage. So here up to this point the GM counter is not active and the voltage is not a threshold voltage. So when it reaches the threshold voltage, then only the count starts, until no counts will be observed in the GM counter. So from the graph it is seen that below threshold voltage the tube does not work. As the applied voltage increases, the counting begins and rises rapidly up to the, that is, flat curve. So here you can see this is the flat curve. So here it is rapidly increasing and this is the flat curve called plateau region. So this is the region in which GM counter works in steady state. So if you find the difference between these two temperatures, then find the mean of these. So that becomes, or the difference between these two temperatures, that becomes the operating voltage of the GM counter. Beyond plateau, that is above this, applied voltage is so high that the tube discharges continuously and counts increases rapidly. So if you further increase the temperature beyond this, the counts also rapidly increases. There is a multiple ionization takes place. So there you can't get the correct number of counts. So here in this plateau region only you will get the correct number of beta particle counts, dear students. Okay. So if you find any difficulty about this, you meet me in the department. Next one is scintillation counter. So scintillation counter is basically used to detect the gamma radiations or gamma particles, dear students. So the block diagram of scintillation counter is here. This is the microscope. So here it is a fine wire. The tip of the wire is dipped in a radium bromide, and this is the, that is, zinc sulfide screen. Clear? So zinc sulfide screen is used because when the gamma radiation falls on it, it produces a scintillation. So scintillation in the sense a flash of light it produces when the gamma particle is absorbed by the, that is, zinc sulfide screen, dear students. We can see those light flashes, but we are not able to count those, because in a second there are hundreds of flashes appear on the screen. So therefore it is not possible to count. For that we have made some different arrangement. So let us see. So that it is known as the photomultiplier tube. When the gamma radiation falls on this window here, so it produces one gamma particle equal to one flash of light due to scintillation. Okay, that photon falls on this photomultiplier tube, that is the electrode. So these electrodes are applied with a high potential, so that the surface of the electrode in which the electrons present are quite highly excited. Okay, So now when this photon interact with that electron, it get ionized and emitted towards the, that is another electrode. Clear? So now these electrodes are arranged and their potential difference is arranged in a such a way that for every interaction of the electron, they produce two or more photoelectrons. So that is the multiplication of the photoelectrons boson takes place. At the end, a bunch of electrons are received due to one single gamma radiation interaction, so that it is counted. Okay, so in this way, the scintillation counter is designed, dear students. Okay, so let us see. It consists of a small wire, the tip of which is dipped in a radium bromide or any other radioactive salt. It is placed in front of a zinc sulfide screen and viewed through the microscope. When gamma particle falls on the zinc sulfide screen, they produce a light flash which can be seen by microscope in a dark room. This is visible flash cannot be possible to count because of hundreds of flashes per second. So therefore, main part of this scintillation counter is as follows. So here the incident light, this is the phosphor, and after that phosphor the light pulse. So here gamma radiation falls on the phosphor, it produces flash of light due to scintillation, that is the light pulse, which falls on the photomultiplier tube, that it produces the photoelectrons, then it becomes electric pulse. That electric pulse is amplified by the amplifier and counted by the resistor. Okay, so this is the arrangement. So now the atoms of the phosphor are excited or ionized by the energy loss of an gamma ray. Okay, so here it is. When the atoms returns to the ground state, photons are emitted in a blue and ultraviolet region. The phosphor is optically coupled to the photomultiplier tube. So here it is. It is the optically coupled. It is in semicircular form. The photons strike the photocathode towards first multiplier electrode. This electrode has the property of emitting 3, 4 or 5 electrons for a single electron which strikes the surface. There may be 10 to 14 such multiplier stages in a given tube. Okay, so here it is. Finally, millions of electrons are emitted for a series of multipliers. The output pulse from the multiplier is fed to the counter circuit. So here it is the counter circuit which registers these electrons, that it is equal to for a 1 gamma radiation, okay, or gamma particle. So in this way the working of the scintillation counter takes place. If you find any difficulty, you meet me in the department. Thank you.